I was really curious all along throughout the negotiations, how much did you try to stay in the loop, because clearly it affects you a lot, versus maybe you couldn't do anything to change it and it became a point of frustration with you and you had to kind of dial it back? Like, how did you intake all of that information?
Listen, we've been through a lot the last couple of years, so I think it was a little bit normal in a normal environment. And there's been a lot of things that have been out of our control for the last couple of years. With COVID, with a lot of different things. Outside of our, it's difficult. But I think a lot of that prepared us, and it allowed us. The silver lining to a lot of this, we had a lot of things that we wanted to do on the player development side to make sure we were aligned in a lot of areas. We hired 2 new hitting coaches. Three new hitting coaches that we wanted to make sure the entire organization was aligned with. On the pitching side, wanted to create that alignment. So the silver lining to it all is we got to pour a ton into our player development system, our prospects that weren't on the 40-man, guys that we could talk to, wrap our arms around. We had hitters meetings, or hitters camps, pitchers camps, leadership camps. We had a lot of different things that we did outside of our major league team, where we were heavily involved in it, which is not normal. To start spring training, we had a lot of our big league staff was basically out here in Surprise, working with our minor league staff, our minor league players, reinforcing messaging, and that to me was probably the most impactful thing we could have done. And just patiently waiting. Like we had to kind of, do some meditating and control our frustration at times. But at the same time, it was like, listen, we're going to make the most of this time. We're going to pour into other avenues and other parts of our organization, try to line up things as much as possible and prepare as much as we can. But our players came in ready. That's the one thing that kind of stands out to me. It's our pitchers came in ready. Our position players came in ready. In fact, they were kind of annoyed that we kind of not held them back a little bit, but we needed to see them to make sure, because we hadn't communicated with them at all. We weren't allowed to. So we wanted to make sure that if they were in good enough shape to kind of push. And now it's like we're pretty much full go right now. Our guys came into camp ready to go.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it seems cruel. It's kind of like having your parents saying, hey, we got your birthday presents 3 months in advance, but you can't touch them until it's your birthday, and you just kind of have to sit there and watch. You had some cool new toys on the way. And so I guess, Woody, like that's the excitement is buzzing around here in the DFW area. Are Rangers fans and players about to get real winning baseball to talk about?
That's the main message I sent to the team. And listen, it's sometimes you want to be careful saying that. Like, you don't want to wrap up. And since I've been here, anybody that's listened to me speak knows I'm heavy on process and like the way we do things, the little details that we do. That's going to obviously produce winning. But what we've done the last 3 years is create the culture, create the environment, have players understand the process. And now obviously the guys that we brought in, they fit the culture. So we didn't go out and sign, we were really picky with who we signed. And obviously we spent a lot of money, but at the same time, they were handpicked. Like, they were perfect examples on what we need in our clubhouse. And so you look around our clubhouse and clearly we improved talent-wise. We improved, we have some championship players on our team, guys that have won championships that understand what it takes. So I told the team, like, listen, we can't be shy of expectations to win. I wanted it. They should want that. It's heavy competition in our clubhouse. We have a ton of depth. We have a lot of guys coming, guys that aren't going to be on our team. They're going to be a little bit frustrated because they don't make the team, but they're coming. We have a lot of quality players, a lot of quality character in that clubhouse. So yes, we have to, that's the goal. Every night we step on the field, we expect to win a game.
Now, one of the moves that y'all made more recently, because the last time we talked to you, all that free agency stuff, as Corey said, was kind of pending, but one of the more recent moves, and you told us that y'all weren't done, was the acquisition of Mitch Garver. What is the excitement level there, and what did you think about the deal?
It's tough, obviously, losing Kiner. So Kiner is one guy. Obviously, Ronnie Enriquez was fantastic. Everybody spoke very highly of him. I got to know him a little bit, but Kiner was our heart and soul. Like, he represented exactly what we wanted out of a Texas Ranger player. The way he competed, the way he prepared, the attitude he came in with every day. He was an elite teammate, heart of gold. This guy cares about the community, cares about, the culture here. And so that hurt. But, to get a great player, you have to obviously give up something. So Mitch Garver came as advertised. Honestly, this guy's an elite hitter. the way he controls the strike zone fits our style of offense that, obviously hiring Donnie and Tim on the hitting coach side. We have some ideas of what we want out of a hitter, and he fits that. He doesn't swing at balls. He stays in the strike zone. He punishes strikes. And that's just how he hits. He's obviously been an elite offensive player, but, from a catching standpoint, this guy's a leader. He commands the pitchers. He cares about, he's a servant to the pitchers. Everything that we ask out of our catchers, this guy from day one, with Bobby Wilson, our catching coach, wanted to get after it, wanted to get better, wanted to improve. So he fits. He's a very, very good fit for us. And he's obviously a really, really good player.
As a fan, you have to pick one of your favorites, right? So Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, which one do you pick? For one, I'm sure it's going to be both. But the other part of it is what's the differences in their approaches? Because from what I've seen so far, Semien just has this, he looks a very business-like approach, and it seems a little different from Seager. Can you kind of describe what you've seen over the last week?
Yeah, they're pretty unique. I think they're both very, very business-like. You watch them both take BP. There's this calm intensity to them. They don't stray from things that they have a routine. They have things that they do, and when they have this intense focus about them, when they're taking ground balls, when they're running the bases, they pay attention to detail. And like I said, they are a perfect fit for us because of that. And you'll see that if they're playing in a back game, B game on a backfield somewhere where nobody is watching, you're going to see the same intensity. You're going to see every pitch, every at bat. They're not going to be out there just kind of goofing around. And listen, they love the game. They love to play it. But they obviously, from an example standpoint to our other players, hey, every rep matters. Everything that we do matters. You watch them after the game; they're recovering. They're doing everything they need to do to be to be in the best shape possible. They're the first guys in the weight room, going through their routine. So they're just a tremendous example for all of our players. But they're unique. They're different. I know Corey obviously pretty well. So if I'm going to say I had a favorite, I'm going to go with Marcus because I know Corey. You know what I mean? I don't want everybody thinks I'm going to say Corey. I adore the kid, and the more I've gotten to know Marcus, this kid has a heart of gold, man. He wants to get with his teammates. He wants to live with his teammates. He wants to share his message with all the younger players. He wants to be a leader. When I say leader, it's sometimes that word gets thrown around a lot, and you expect this guy to be standing on top of a table giving a team speech, and that's nonsense. What this guy does from a leadership standpoint is invaluable. He loves to talk. He loves to talk to these guys and share, what he's been through, his experiences, and how he became a great player, and how he never takes a day for granted. Still, even when he's had the success he's had, especially the last year and a couple years before that, he knows every rep matters. Everything I do has a purpose. I think that's like I said, it's so nice to have that because those are the words we've been saying for 3 years, and now you have two players. And honestly, I can say more than two players because every guy we've signed since then is very, very similar.
Now, since you're talking about Corey Seager, usually when a player that good leaves his previous team, it can be really crippling to them. Are you amused to see that the Dodgers are working on putting together the greatest lineup that we've seen in modern baseball history?
No, not surprised. Obviously, they do an elite job there of putting a team together. They obviously have a huge payroll, but it's not even that. It's just the guys that they actually bring in. They do it well, clearly. They're going to miss Corey, though. I will say that. He was obviously a big part of that team, big part of their presence. When you play the Dodgers and you see Corey in the two-hole or, typically in the two-hole there, he's playing shortstop, there's an intimidation factor there. And, for him not being there, obviously Trey Turner's a great player, and they're going to – Freddie Freeman's going to be there. They obviously have a very, very talented team. But, hey, you know what? The Texas Rangers are coming, too.
If we interviewed people with the Dodgers, would they say they like Corey Seager better or you better?
Ooh,
if we did an informal likability poll.
I don't think it's a question. I think Corey. I don't even think that would be a question. You can replace a coach or a manager, but a guy like Corey, you can't replace.
You're irreplaceable, Woody. We were talking with Mike about this a little bit, over the last couple of weeks and the approach, because some of the minor league guys have been able to get some work. Do you think that those guys will have a little more of an advantage, maybe even helping out early in the season, maybe with some of the pitchers because they've already been working, or is there a different type of time crunch that you're dealing with here?
I thought that originally. We all thought about that. Maybe they would help us because they may be built up a little bit more, especially the pitchers that have been in minor league camp that weren't on our roster. They signed as minor league invites or just hadn't been, put on the 40-man yet. So they're built up a little bit more. But the way our guys came in, I think we're going to be fine. Honestly, I think with the guys that we have now, we may factor in a little bit to start the season. Like I think I said this the other day, but strategically it may be a little different the first week or two, just because guys aren't built up to full capacity. With starters only going 60 or 70 maybe to start. With bullpen guys maybe not really wanting them to go back to back. That may change a little bit of the strategy in game, but we have good arms, so I'm not too worried about that. But as we get into like week 1 or 2, I think it's going to be pretty much full go at that point. I can use guys back to back. I can use them 3 days in a row if they're built up to that, and then it becomes pretty fun. If we got matchups this way, that way, left, right, and starters are going 100 pitches, then it's that's when it's going to get pretty exciting.
I was kind of curious. Obviously, it's a big year for the team, as every year is going to be. How important is this year for you as well? Do you feel like you're finally getting like maybe more of the requisite talent to show what you can do as a manager?
No, listen, I want to build a championship team, and I know that CY and JD have been tremendous through this whole thing. I don't care who you put in my team. Obviously I'm going to try to do the best I can to build, around whoever we have. We obviously endured, listen, it was tough to lose. I don't even want to talk about it anymore, but what we maintained through that, what these guys kept doing every night, kept coming out competing, kept staying together. They were great in the clubhouse. The culture was fine. It's never as good as it can be when you're losing. But yeah, listen, I welcome the expectations. I've wanted that. I think every player in there should want that. We're not going to shy away from those expectations. I can't wait to get criticized when we have expectations to win every night. That's what we want. That's what we should desire. We should be craving that as professionals and competitors, honestly. So, like I said, I don't care what team you give me, but to have this team with the character that we have in that clubhouse and now the talent that we have, it's going to be fun. It's going to be, basically our vision that I know people have been here longer than I have. But for the last 3 years, this has been our vision to put a team together with this kind of character and talent. We still got places to fill the gaps and, can always improve, but I trust these guys, and I can't wait to see these guys compete.
Since we have JD and CY, when you guys start winning, do you want us to call you the CW?
No.
You can call us whatever we want. I don't care.
Don't agree to that, Woody. Don't agree to that.
I just want to start winning, man.
Sounded like a yes to
Let's
me.
just call him the winner. Let's just
the winner.
The winner. Let's do that.
Man, we appreciate your time very much, and I think what a lot of Rangers fans, in all seriousness, appreciate is how excited you are about the team and how excited you are about the prospect of winning baseball around here. So we appreciate that very much, sir.
No, I appreciate it. And listen, we haven't done anything yet. We still got to go out and prove it. But I'm super thrilled. Can't wait to, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears of these guys. They're going to give everything they got.